Blizzard might be overwhelming us with new posts about Season of Discovery Phase 6, but never fear. I've analyzed the upcoming content. I've tested the controversial new raid mechanics firsthand. I've prepped for the war effort. I've obtained Broodlord's head for Scarab Lord. I've farmed bugs. So yeah, I'm pretty deep into prepping. But that also means I've got the perfect plan for you to dominate in Phase 6, getting epic gear, making thousands of gold, and clearing the raids no problem. So let's get to the prep. We start with the gold, and we're gonna need it for pretty much every aspect of Phase 6. We'll be needing gold for new flasks, and there's this new Titans equivalent, there's a new Supreme Power, there's even new attack power, new healing power flasks too. These not only require the typical flasks, but they're even more expensive because they use items like Greater Eternal Essence as well. Similarly, we've got new potions, like a new Mongoose equivalent with 5 more attack power, but importantly, it also has 15 nature resistance too. These have new pricey reagents, but they'll be must-have, otherwise you'll be dying a lot more in the raid. So really, the first big gold-making tip I have is to get in immediately on the Scarab Lord grind. Now, the Scarab Lord questline, it does require you to farm over 20,000 Scarab fragments. That's a grind that takes over 200 hours. Now, you don't have to be farming Scarab Lord to profit from the Scarab Lord questline. You see, you can just ask a friend, a guildie, or pay somebody to deputize you, and then you can collect the Scarab fragments yourself and sell them for huge profit. Now, the price is kind of plummeting on my server, but you might be able to sell for 3 gold a fragment, 4 gold a fragment, and that means hundreds of gold per hour, even up to 1,000 gold per hour. 8 to 12 gold per mob kill. As of right now, that would be the best gold maker in the history of Classic WoW. The only problem is the bugs are kind of scary. So you're either going to have to go into chat, you're going to have to bring a friend with you to farm, or maybe make it a guild movie night. Get everybody farming with you, watch a movie, have a good time. No matter what you do though, 10 hours of farming, you're going to be paying for all of your consumes, all of your enchants for the rest of the game. Now, there's another thing you've really got to be doing last minute, and that is war effort prep as well. Now, the TLDR being that you stockpile items like runecloth bandages. You turn those in, you receive boxes. Inside the boxes, you get level 55 to 60 greens. You mail that to a level 5 alt, you disenchant those items, you get Greater Eternal Essence, you get large brilliant shards. Fantastic. Now sure, I've got a full video in the top right on exactly how to maximize your profit from the war effort, but this was before the huge news drop that you don't want to miss out on. You see, the thing I didn't mention in the video is that commendations can also be used for all sorts of new world buff items. Right now on the PTR, subject to change, the Onyxia buff, available with Revered Argent Dawn Rep, for example, for 100 of these commendations from the war effort. Now, research is still being done, but this seems like it applies to other reputations as well, like Zul'Gurub, for example. So you're going to want to get revered with a lot of reps for sure, but you're also going to want to get a ton of these commendations too. Also, just back to gold for a second, another gold maker you really don't want to miss out on would be the Righteous Orb farming. If you really want to get fast cash, there is no better method than Righteous Orb farming. Dueling with a friend, a shaman for example, you could easily get 250 gold each worth of Righteous Orbs every single hour. And you can split those, you can share them, they sell instantly on the auction house. That is not the only reason you'd want to do Stratholme though, because there are a ton of new reasons to get Tarnished Undermine Reals now. See, Tarnished Undermine Reals are making a big comeback in Phase 6. There's this new toy vendor in Booty Bay. Her name is Bubbles, yes she is a gnome, but she sells some of the coolest items in Classic WoW history. She sells items like the World Warper, for example. It takes you to all sorts of different exotic locations. This is also finally the way to get the much-anticipated Atalai Ritual Sacrifice Dagger. This dagger got us really excited in Phase 3. You can invite people to a party, you channel an altar, and then somebody that channels ends up dying. It's really awesome. With your gold, with your real sorted though, we've really got to talk about items you can stockpile to make a huge amount of profit before they go up in price. So with a nature-heavy raid like AQ40, one of the consumes that's really going to pay off is Greater Nature Protection Potions. You'll also definitely, of course, want Greater Arcane Protection Potions for Scarab. Then one other thing you really want to get is Elixir of Poison Resistance. Incredibly valuable on Vasidius, and you'll really appreciate having them. Then one other thing I'm doing is stockpiling enchanting mats, so that every time I get a piece of gear, I can look forward to enchanting it immediately instead of having this burden of having to farm gold, having to get mats. There are so many cool weapons, so many cool armor pieces in Phase 6, so getting yourself a bunch of Righteous Orbs for Crusader, for example, is a very good idea. You'll also really want to hit up Zul'Gurub to get yourself some of those idols, at least 2 idols last minute. Being able to instantly enchant your leg, your helmet, the second you get new items, it is going to be well worth it compared to having to go back to ZG and farm again. This is also a great time to finish your ZG rep. Like I said, it has some implications for the new world buff items, but also the Zanza potions, the 20% move speed, the shoulder enchants as well. Definitely get yourself revered, if not exalted. ZG rep, though, is not the only reputation you should be thinking about. Cenarian Circle rep is also a hugely important rep. Now you might say, wait a minute, can't I just get Cenarian Circle rep from AQ20? Can't I just get Brood of Nosdormu rep from AQ40? And the answer is yes. But if you really want to make a lot of money with alchemy, if you want to make a lot of money with blacksmithing, for example, you want to get your hands on the new recipes as quickly as possible. See, alchemy, for example, you've got to get honored with Cenarian Circle for the new flask, the new elixir recipes, as quickly as possible. So sure, we might want to get our Cenarian Circle rep, but you're probably wondering, how do we actually do that? The answer is one of 2 options, and the first is the exact same grind you do when you're getting Earthstrike, for example. That's the field duty quest, going back and forth, the giant bug, going into the caves. That is really your best bet for rep. If you're looking for Earthstrike, you're really getting 2 things done at the same time, and that's a win-win. Now, if you're a non-Earthstrike user, you have no interest in even Wrath of Cenarius, for example, then you'd still probably want to do the field duty questline. In between, though, you can also be farming the Twilight Cultists. This is a really good time to do it. Nobody's doing it because everybody's farming bugs for gold. While you're farming those cultists, you're getting the encrypted Twilight texts. Those are worth a ton of money as well. Now, another really good thing to get out of the way early, that's going to be your nature resistance gear. The big question is whether you actually need nature resistance gear in the first place. Now, having done the PTR myself, I can safely say you really don't actually need nature resistance gear. We cleared Uhuran, no nature resistance gear at all, it was no problem. Now, Vasidius, though, that was actually a difficult fight without nature res. And for that fight, I'd recommend having at least 150 nature res your first time in. The thing is, you don't have to go crazy with just the itemization. You could bring several hunters, for example, and each group they're in would have 60 extra nature res. If you do have a lot of gold, though, you can really get some very strong items. For example, the Sandstalker Bracers, the Bramblewood Helm. These are available right now, and they are best in slot, at least when we're talking nature resistance gear. If you're a broke boy, though, and you're looking to easily get some nature resistance gear from Phase 5, you can get things like the Gloaming Tree Heart from DFC. You can get the Wrath of Ray, the Drape of the Wind Lord, even the Soul of Thunder Trinket from Thunderend. These are all very strong items to get. Let's say you got really unlucky with all those items, though. If you're a leather wearer, if you're a plate wearer, one of the best options you could do is go with the Chimeric pieces. The recipes on my server only 50 silver each. Each piece to craft was under 15 gold each. That's a very good option. So hopefully this video inspired you to start doing some prepping. And if you were inspired to go out there and do some bug farming to make a bunch of gold, I want to hear about it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, or I'm going to steal all your bug kills. And then check out my ultimate DPS tier list for Phase 6 next.